Of two women I'd rather have here to talk politics about, chair of the Washington State Democratic Party, Tina Podlodowski. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
And Susan Hutchison, the former chair of the Washington State Republican Party, former U.S. Senate candidate. You said Chair Heimlich is at the RNC meeting right now.
Yes, it's the summer meeting, and they're in Charlotte, which is where the convention is going to be next year. And so they do walkthroughs, and it's important that he be there. So.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming in his place to discuss this. What do you think? Is this the last time we see Jay Inslee on a debate stage for the 2020 run?
Well, I guess that'll be up to the voters, and it'll be up to the donors, right? The next high water mark to get on the debate stage in September is 130,000 donors and 2% in a certain amount of polls. So everyone has until August 28th to make that happen. The donors and the voters decide.
What do you think, Susan?
I certainly hope for the people of Washington State that he gets back here and gets back to work. I don't think that he, or quite frankly, I didn't see anyone on the stage today or last night that is going to be the next president of the United States. And so a lot of them don't have the slightest chance. And I would put Jay Inslee in that category.
Yeah, well, we do expect the field to be narrowed quite a bit. I mean, the threshold for the fall debates doubles. 2% in 4 qualifying polls, or 130,000 unique donors. There's some other stipulations in there. But let's say that the governor decides that the race is not viable for whatever reason, and he comes back here and decides, I'm going to run for a third term as governor. A conversation we're having is he welcomed with open arms back here by the people of Washington after spending so much time away? What do you think, Tina?
Well, I think Governor Inslee has done a tremendous job in his terms as governor. And the reality is he's gone around the country talking about everything that's happened here in Washington State. And that's a model for every other state in the country. He's been able to do work to help Democrats get elected up and down the ticket all across the country. So while his staff has been back here, because we have these great things called telephones and computers that allow us to do our work no matter where we are, great things have been happening here in Washington State. So I spend about 2 weeks out of every month on the road talking to voters, and everyone here still feels very good about our governor.
Susan, do you believe this is an easy thing for the Republican, whoever it's going to be, the Republican candidates for governor, to go after him on if he chooses to run for a third term?
Well, I think that there are an awful lot of Democrats that also would like him to step down after 2 terms and let others have another chance. But today on the debate stage, he said a lot of things that we could dispute. One of them was that when he talked about health care, he wanted to expand the coverage for mental health care, which of course is something that I promoted tremendously during my run for U.S. Senate. But this is a governor who allowed us to lose accreditation at our major mental health hospital, Western State. We don't even get federal funds there because of being so derelict on that particular issue. So there was a lot of self-praise during today's debate, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that for most of his terms we had the Republicans running the state Senate, and that made a balanced government and allowed us to do good things at the same time that Governor Inslee happened to be the governor.
Yeah, and in full disclosure, you're not the spokesperson for Governor Inslee's campaign.
No, I'm
certainly
not.
But is that a fair criticism of, I brought this up in my own analysis a half hour ago, that we have serious issues with our mental health system. And here he's on the stage talking about we need to address mental health. How can he do that convincingly? He hasn't been able to fix our mental health system. So how could he possibly do that as president?
Well, Susan gave you the answer to that, which is for 8 years we had Republicans controlling the Senate, and we were unable to fix a lot of the issues related to our mental health system. Look, this goes back to the Reagan administration and a Republican administration that devolved our mental health care system in this country, and we've been fighting these issues ever since. Take a look at the stage, though, at all the Democrats who are on the stage tonight and the previous night. You've got 20 people here, 20 people who, all of them, could do a much better job than the current occupant of the Oval Office. But at some point, we will unite around one person. And the thing that Republicans should be most worried about is not only will we have that one person, but these other 19 people who are all committed to making sure Donald Trump does not stay in the Oval Office. And behind them will be millions of Americans who have been lied to, who have been sold a bill of goods from this particular president. And they will be out there voting, and I'm confident he's going to be out of office, and looking forward to that day.
You said, unite around one person. Mm-hmm. I was telling you guys in the green room, I thought the last 2 nights of debate were pretty nasty. You guys said it just seems like politics. Cory Booker said something on stage tonight that he felt like if they're infighting, that it ultimately helps Donald Trump and hurts Democrats. Is that true? When you saw the battle of the moderates and the progressives on stage night one, and then you saw everyone pile on to Biden and to some extent Harris tonight, does that hurt Democrats ultimately when they're not cohesive?
Well, I think Democrats are cohesive about making sure that Donald Trump is not the next president, does not have a second term in those pieces. But in all of these debates, and you look at the structure, when you've got 30 seconds to answer a question, essentially it turns into a reality TV show.
A minute to answer a question,
well,
but that's still not a lot.
It's still not a lot.
Yeah.
So it turns into a reality TV show. That's how we got the last occupant, or the current occupant of the Oval Office. He was really good at reality TV, not so good at being a president.
Susan, what do you think? Is all of this 20 candidates on stage, all these debates, is it doing Donald Trump a favor?
I actually think it is. And one thing different between this election year and 4 years ago is that it was an open seat. And so it was a free-for-all, and we had 17 candidates on our side, and the Democrats had Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and a few stragglers. But there was drama on both sides. And right now we've got a very powerful incumbent, and I believe the Democrats understand that. And we've got all this distraction with these 20 people who are running, as I said, most of whom have no business being on that stage. I'm not sure why they're there. Marianne Williamson and Jay Inslee and a host of others. There'll be a handful that'll make it down the track a ways. But the Democrats have got tremendous division inside their ranks, and all you have to do is look in the Congress right now to see it. And so I know that it's tough on Cory Booker and a number of others who've complained that they can't go after each other, but they're going after each other every day in the U.S. Congress.
And these races, this is the nature of politics. You're right, as you said in the agreement. I got to leave it there. We're going to have you guys back on, though. There are going to be plenty of more debates. 2020 is very far away, so we appreciate you guys coming in, giving us your insights. Susan Hutchison, good to see you.
Thank you, Brandi.
Great to see you. Tina Podlodowski, always
you.
good to see you. Thank you for coming in and giving us your insight. We'll have you back on. Brian, over to you.